Greetings, gamers! KWK here with another Let's Play. And we are continuing more into our Doom series of ports. And what better one to try out next than the Doom 64 for the Nintendo 64. Can't go wrong with that system, right? Well, not always. This is a very interesting port of Doom just because it is nothing like any of the other ports. This is probably the most unique port of Doom I've ever played on a console. And it kind of takes the game in a little bit of a different direction. Different sprites, different effects, different sound, music. A lot of different things have changed here. My goal today is to go over some pros and cons with you and try out a few levels and see what we all think about it. So, no better time than the present to get started with this than now. And we're going to take a look at this beauty of a gem, which is pretty good, I'm going to have to say. It's pretty good, but my main problem with this game, I'm going to have to say, is first, right here in the options, we're talking brightness factor. You can already see I did a green screen setup today because I had to use my PVM monitor to do this video. That is how bad this is. The FrameMeister on my HD screen just did not work out well at all. It actually was way too dark. I couldn't see it, and I know how to adjust brightness settings. Even with all my brightness settings adjusted, it didn't work out for me at all. So we have to go to display, and this is just standard for anybody who wants to play this game and actually see it. You put the brightness all the way up, and even putting it all the way up, it's still not a big help. It's still not a big help. So we're going to take a look at it with the brightness fully up now. And from the PVM screen, I should be able to actually see what's going on. So, nothing better than I own Doom, so let's use that difficulty, because I do own Doom, obviously. Now, my first gathering of this game is the N64 controller is the first thing that I notice. And since you're using the analog stick, it's not my favorite way to move in a first-person shooting type game like this. The analog stick is definitely kind of, really waggly, not as accurate as I'd like it to be. It has a floaty feel to it. And being able to strafe is not the easiest option. You got to hold down there to do it that way. Now you can hold the controller different ways and strafe with the top buttons, but I still want to use this analog stick and not the D-pad, so you're going to run into that trouble. But enough about complaining about the N64 controller for this game. I mean, it's not terrible, it's just I really would prefer a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller. Straight from the get-go, you can tell that this looks nothing like any of the other ports of Doom so far. Not at all. Very different setup and look. It's not a bad look, it's just a completely different look. So it's going to be very subjective on what you guys probably think about this game when it comes to that, because, oh nice, got a guy hiding over there. It's going to be at your discretion if you like the old, classic look of Doom, or you got like this new style of it, which is, it's different, and I gotta say I like it, but I don't like it more than the original. Now from the get-go you can already tell with kind of the sound effects, and they got a cool double blade looking chainsaw on this one. That one's pretty cool looking. You got to rotate through your weapons. You don't have an immediate weapon push, which gets frustrating to say the least when you want to get to a weapon fast. So that's a typical downside to console ports of Doom. And that looks like it needs a blue key. Yeah, I beat this game only once when it first came out. Literally, I got this game as soon as it came out because I was a big Doom fan. And I have to say, I do remember enjoying it because it was one of the better first-person shooters, hands down, on the N64 at the time. Even though that it does lack probably one of the most crucial things, other than the brightness factor, the next thing that comes to mind that I was terribly disappointed with in this game was no multiplayer settings. At the time I had like Duke Nukem 64, I think, I had the GoldenEyes, I had Mario Kart, you have your friends over, you had so many different games that supported 4 players, or at least, 2 players co-op or something, and you run into these issues where you would expect a game like this to support it, and it doesn't. And it's pretty frustrating. It's like, hey, this would be even more fun with deathmatch options, cooperative options, etc. And I really don't know why they didn't do it. It's a possibility that a lot of people argue anytime the N64 was lacking something, a lot of people just argue, oh, it's because it was cartridge based and they didn't have the room. That might be true. I really don't know why they didn't do it. It could have been a time constraint sometimes with games. People are like, hey, we want this game released by this date. It's going to happen. They're just going to have less features. But I can say you can already tell it's got the PlayStation and Saturn sound effects, but not the same music. It does go the ambient route of music. And it's kind of creepier in this one. I gotta say, the music is definitely creepier in this version as opposed to the others. And even though I got the brightness up and I'm doing this on the PVM monitor, it still is pretty dark. So no, I wouldn't be this terrible if I could see a little bit better, I gotta admit. Now, I do remember I ain't played this one in ages. This is a good demon trap, so I'm gonna be ready for it. There we go. Put your back to a wall and let the chainsaw do the work. That's how I roll with this one. That's just the Doom method, to say the least. Wow, I barely survived. I just noticed I got like 1 health. Maybe I should concentrate more on the game and then all my flapping here. Better be a little bit more careful. I do remember passing... There's probably some secrets I missed. I probably got to hit the switch, or a switch. That's going to open my path back up somewhere. Man, that's hard to see. So we're going to go from here. But no, Doom 64 is definitely a good game, but it's almost so different to the point... I won't say that it's not a Doom game. It just feels significantly different from all the Doom series that it kind of takes away from the charm for me. It's like, you know what? I really... Like this is pretty cool right here. Whoa. This guy's gonna bag me down here if I'm not careful. Which I'm struggling to see still. They took a note from Duke Nukem here, I can tell. And you can actually hit the use button and look at security cameras. I don't know that option in any other Doom, so that's kind of another added feature. This one also did add different monsters. You had like, I think they call it the Nightmare Imp. And besides the Nightmare Imp, they had like, I think like a different cyber type demon, not cyber demon, but like cybernetic, like Mother Mastermind or Mother Demon or something. It was like the end boss. I can't remember what they called it in this one, because like I said, I haven't beaten this game since that time, way back in the day. And to say the least, I do miss the charm of the Doom guy's head in the center in the menu. And I don't know if any of you guys have noticed yet already, but I do notice that the perspective from this isn't like the other Dooms. It's kind of like the viewpoint is from your chest as opposed to like eye level. Like in Doom, it felt like I was looking at everything at eye level. In this Doom, it feels like to me that I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything from like the chest. It's like a lower perspective. It makes everything look bigger. But hey, there you go. You know, I don't have much else going on for first level, so that's it. I'm sure I missed some secrets, but hopefully I killed everything at least. Let's see. This one is a double feature option. If you have your memory card in your controller, you can save, I believe, as an option, or you can also use a password system. So they kind of added, so right here it wants to give me an option to save. So I'll press those and hey, I'm saved at least, that's cool. I like that double feature of a password system or save, because sometimes you don't have a save card where you're at and you want to continue where you left off, or maybe at a friend's house. And that feature is just really slick. I always enjoyed that being an option. Wow, I just cannot believe how dark this game is. I'm super struggling. Oh, to see anything. Super struggling here. Ugh. Wow, I'm like right next to guys and getting bagged already. Now, I do know that a lot of people are pretty frustrated because they really like this Doom, and they just don't like playing it on an N64, so there are options out there. I remember downloading one of them way back in the day, and it was called Absolution, I believe. And it was actually a way to play this, a port of this on your PC, so you could actually use a keyboard and a mouse. And being able to do that was just a real cool feature at the time. It was a super cool feature. But I do know that somebody was frustrated and was like, hey, you know what, this isn't accurate enough for me. And with people not feeling that it's accurate enough for them, is the brightness even up? It just doesn't feel like it. I'm double checking. Yeah, it's all the way up. Just making sure. Because I'm really starting to squint here, guys. Really starting to squint and see where the heck I'm moving. I can't even see like walls in front of me or nothing. So, I mean, this is going to be punishing to say the least to get through. Really adds to the challenge to say the least. Once again, a challenge that isn't a fun challenge. It's like somebody's blindfolding you and telling you to play the game. Now this is kind of a neat feature that I noticed this N64 version likes to do, which is a lot of different like color lighting, and they manipulate it in different ways to get these special effects going, which is pretty cool. And I just got so lost I actually found my way going back. Let's try this way, I guess. You know, we won't want to get too lost. A bunch of barrels. That looks like nothing but trouble. Nice. Now the chain gun in this game looks pretty intense. I like how they redid this one. This is pretty intense. Very cool option. Very cool. And we got ourselves some bolts that we are going to be going through very quickly. Very quickly. They also are lacking some monsters in this Doom, I believe. Not that I don't know if you guys will miss them. I know the Arch Vial is definitely missing in this one. We all know so many people are going to be disappointed about that. And I want to say the Commando is missing. The basically chain gunner guy. I call him Commando at times. And with him missing, it definitely takes away from stuff, to say the least. It isn't the best of options. And you know what? We're just going to try to find a whole different route to go, because that doesn't look like anywhere to go. I will say this one is easier to get lost in just because it's so dark. It's like an obvious tunnel that you would have normally seen, you don't see. And then you start going back to where you were again. It's crazy in Doom 64, say the least. Like, I should have turned maybe this route. Is this actually taking me somewhere? Or is this looping me back to, like, the beginning again? No, that's what it's doing. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, let's dim some lighting here. Hell with that. Let's see if we can actually see this game a little bit more. May not be the best lighting for the video, but I don't care. Now I have a chance of actually seeing the game a little bit, so let's take a look from here now. Alright, so we're screwing around. Now I can actually see the screen. And what do we got remaining? Okay, went down there, got nothing going on. Alright, cool. Well, now you get to this like hidden switch, and that's a cool effect. You don't normally see that in Doom, where the lights will change, that'll all come down. Armor that I well needed, I now have. And that is pretty cool. That's pretty slick. Oof, somebody already pegged me. Still struggling to see where the heck they are. Ah, here we go. Light amplification goggles. This is what this game's idea of light amplification is. I'm not seeing a big difference. Are you guys seeing a big difference? Well, it kind of helps when you go in this lit up room, but still, I think that's pretty weak to say the least for light amplification. Alright, I need a red key for that one. Got this weird thing. Ah, Berserk Pack. I'll save that for when I'm probably going to be really low health in this near future here. We'll save that one. Ah, there we go. Cool. Nice. Alright. I will say, now that I actually turned the lights off that are on me for the video, I can see this now. The glare was killing me too. This game is just such a hassle to play for a video, to say the least. But now that I got that all turned off, I can actually get around and see what's going on. And this one's a little bit more puzzle friendly, I've noticed. Like, you try to get the blue key, it disappears. Ha ha ha, they mock you, that's great. Now that it disappeared, I think it floats around the room and reappears in different spots. So you try to go to it, like I did here. Disappears again. That's great. And disappears from that spot. And there's different switches you hit. But I think lower it. Ah, and you gotta try to get it in time. But I missed it, so. And apparently it tricks you. That's nice. That's a good way to get squished too. Okay, which one actually activates this? Because I thought I hit this one on the end. Nope. Ugh, just ain't fast enough. I mean, it feels like you're just walking way slower in this Doom too. I mean, I'm holding the run button. I looked it up. Barely can make it. And here's the other fun add-on. In this Doom, these guys just randomly appear out of nowhere. They just pop out of freaking nowhere. And with that going on, ugh, what a headache to say the least. That's not very Doom. Usually, I guess the closest to original Doom for popping up out of nowhere would be, they had like warp. They'd make like the warp noise and they'd be warping in from a teleport somewhere. But they wouldn't just come out of thin air at you. But hey, we got the blue key now, which makes me want to go towards the blue room. Start cleaning some house, shall we? There we go. There we go. Yeah. And this is like an archaic way to strafe. I can't stress enough how much I'd prefer a different control setup than having to hold a button and the strafe back and forth. I mean, I guess you didn't have too many options with the N64, but that one's pretty frustrating. So what else do we notice? Other than everything's pretty much revamped and different here. We were talking about added monsters. I think they made what's called like a nightmare imp, which basically I think it's an imp that takes more hits. It's like darker. Wow, I can't even... You're not going to see these invisible demons in this version of Doom, that's for sure. Not with the way this game's designed. Man, I didn't notice them until I actually literally bumped into them. I'm almost due for that Berserk pack I saved. Oh, look at that. Of course they're going to give me a supercharge now. Well, whatever. We're wasting it. Yep, grabbed our supercharge. And we're going to pretty much get our way out from here, I'd think. But I still need a red key, which I didn't see anywhere. Where the heck is there a red key still? Alright, we'll start adventuring around. Maybe gotta fall down in one of these holes. That's something different. Yeah, the flow of the... Oh, that's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. We're loving the squish rooms. Nice. Beautiful. Just beautiful. And there you go. Well, that's Doom 64, guys. It's not like the traditional other Doom ports out there. It's definitely a good game. It's just not the same type of game that all the other Doom ports are. So if you're expecting just a little bit of a change, like a sound effect or some, minor changes, don't go here. But if you want a completely different experience with the Doom theme, I would say this is the way to go. It's not a bad game, but there are some things against it that make it hard to enjoy, in my opinion. Between having to use an N64 controller, the darkness levels of the game are a little bit frustrating. Even in the most ideal setup, I'm still struggling to see things in the game. I really think probably your best option is there's people out there that have ports of this for the PC. I would try playing it on there because I'm sure they'll give you options to kind of fix the controls a bit the way you like it on a PC, and probably the brightness levels of things. So either way, let me know what you guys think about this game, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take it easy.